All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, everybody. Thursday, we are back at it again, like we do every single day, Monday through Thursday, noon PST. Again, today we're starting a little early, but welcome. I'm Bill the Bull, back at it. Late night on chain, where we bring in the top-notch talent, S-tier devs, teams, builders, personalities. Doesn't really matter. We have something interesting, or they have something interesting to say. We want them on. Anyways, Bill the Bull here today. We are going to be joined by a really good lineup today. Actually, we got Alex from Sushiswap. You may have heard of them. They're probably one of the top leading dexes in the entire industry. We also have John from Albemarle City, basically a lieutenant of the mayor Von back in Albemarle City. So we'll have that, and we might have Cyrus from on the Solana land. We'll see about that. TBD. I haven't heard from him, but we're gonna have a good show. Shout out to you, Pizza's a awesome dude. Baseland man, Dev, S tier dad. And we're talking about S tier people. He is one. Met him at On Chain Summit not too long ago. RIP On Chain Summit. That was a lot of fun. But anyways, hopefully they do it again. So shout out to you, man. We're gonna bring in Alex in a second. Lots to talk about. First of all, I have to get through all my sponsors, but before I do that, man, what a shit show Robinhood is. It's not for the faint of heart. Oh my god. The trenchers from Solana have invaded Robinhood. My bags have been destroyed. But hey, no crying in the casino. I repeat, no crying in the casino. This is what happens. No crying. But damn, shit's rough. Vlad got hacked. Account got deleted. Or post got deleted. Damn. Not for the faint of heart, my friends. Not for the faint of heart. All right. But before we begin all this stuff, the only way my boy, your boy, me gets paid is because I have sponsors and I have to go through them all because I got to make sure this I keep the lights on. I actually need to get a new camera too, but sponsors are the only way. We don't charge guests. This episode is brought to you by BV7X. Millions of AI agents compete around the clock. They gather the info, they run the numbers, and they make the call. BV7X turns their consensus into verified, tradable alpha. Every signal on chain lives on base. The world's sharpest models are already competing in the game. Put agentic intelligence behind your next move. Get started. BV7X.ai. A couple of supporting sponsors. One of them is Banker. Most of you guys do know who Banker is. They provide the agentic tooling for agents to operate autonomously on chain. Banker is where builders launch agentic businesses, raise from the market, and reach their audience, back the next generation of founders, or become one. Actually, Banker has done some crazy shit on Robinhood. Man, yesterday they did a tokenized stock. They did a meme with a tokenized stock. It was GME. That thing ran to 20 plus million. I obviously had no idea. I'm never in front of all these things because, being in the trenches is like a full-time job, man. Next thing I know, Blinkson's like 20 million. It's like, where did this come from? But yeah, they're making a push on Robinhood too. So not just AI agent stuff. Cool things. A couple more. Buildify. I want to give a shout out to them, our supporting sponsor, one of the newest launch pads on Robinhood and on Ethereum, and coming to base soon. Mint phase allows everyone to get in at launch price, no bonding curve, locked LP. Builders earn ETH from trading fees, no token allocations. And last but not least, Albemarle City, the first tokenized city on the Solana blockchain. The lands are beautiful and the resources are abundant. Check out Albemarle today. All right. Let's get to it. And shout out to the arena, the people on AVAX. Always good to see you. But yes, let's bring in the one, the only Alex from Sushi. How are we doing today, sir?
Doing well, man. How's it going?
Not bad. Besides my bags being down quite a bit. You never know. No crying in the casino is what they say. But other than that, good, right?
Hopefully not too bad. Robinhood bags or
Oh yeah, Robinhood brags, bro. The thing I noticed about Robinhood and I didn't realize is rotations. I mean, you're from the Dex world, so obviously you probably know better than anyone. Rotations, the whole idea of like holding something for a long period of time. This new generation in the trenches, they don't know the idea of holding. They just rotate. Have you noticed that yourself?
yeah, it's I mean, I call it like the scamming infrastructure. Like the scamming infrastructure has gotten so efficient.
Yeah.
These cabals, like their incentive to extract $5 or $10 or $20,000 is like so high because it's so easy that like most stuff is a scam. And so fundamentally, like you have to kind of rotate to like scalp and front run That it's weird because I'm more of like a DeFi summer era type of person.
Yeah.
Meme coins. I think about, you fall in love with a meme or a thesis, and then it's just like zero or hero, um, type of a bet. And a meme only really gets successful if it kind of gets this like zeitgeist level of attention and mind share. So I don't know. I think it's weird. It's like it's how the market's evolved. I think a lot of it is uh yeah, it's interesting. I think we might maybe we'll see a reversion back to like fewer projects, more long term outlook.
I,
But
I really hope. I also come from that era. We're probably similar ages, or maybe I'm probably a little older, but the DeFi summer 2020 era, pre, pump fund, pre, ability to click. Like back then, actually, there was a Wild West back then. Like Uniswap, I remember was like 2019 or 2020. But back then, in order to deploy something, you had to actually have a developer on your team to like actually go and
yeah, it was
develop.
expensive. It was
Yeah,
expensive,
it was very expensive.
and
What was
gas was
expensive?
like $200 to buy anything.
Exactly. And so obviously with that in mind and with the ability of you needed technical knowledge, you had less launches and much more concentration bets. And because gas fees are so high, people would say now, maybe I'm not even, we're going to get into all about your pursuit to Robinhood and stuff, but maybe I was very naive thinking that like Robinhood early stages would have that similar ETH concept of holders holding on. But nah, Solana culture has extremely penetrated it. And I guess gas fees, the ability to create a coin regardless is proven true on every chain. I don't know. Hopeful to change though. You think it
Yeah,
will?
I think the interesting thing about Robinhood Chain is that to me it feels like DeFi summer
Yeah.
2020 vibes. Like there's something about it where it feels like the scam infrastructure max rotation mini cap meta is like not as present, but maybe it will. I'm sure like that will become more prevalent, but I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit less of that. Like to me, it feels a little bit nostalgic. You know, at least that's just my personal opinion. But yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
I think your opinion's spot on. Like I said, the reason it 100% reminds me of DeFi Summer 2020 minus the extractors. And the reason why is the innovation. Back in 2020, the DeFi Summer, it was like the first time we see these farms. You're able to like, farm for food coins, just a lot of fun on chain. That was the first time I really had fun. And 2020 now, 2026, Robinhood's the ability because they've opened up the tokenization of stocks. And I think that's a
Yeah,
whole meta in itself that's never been done before. People are flocking to that. So it's more about the animal coins, more about like, oh man, I have like, I have this project that pays me in actual stocks. And there's just so many different things you can do with it. Like yesterday, Banker paired a typical token with the meme with an actual thing, and it rises in value. But yeah, so I see the appeal. Now let's talk about, sushi, right? Because obviously you guys have established yourselves as uh maybe top 3, top 2 decentralized exchanges in the world. So congratulations on that. But you guys have made a public push to prioritize Robinhood chains. What what went through that? What convinced you that Robinhood is the ecosystem that you guys want to aggressively pursue?
yeah. So I think when I think about sushi and our objective, right? Um, Sushi has the DEX on the front end side of things, but it's a pretty robust business and infrastructure beyond what most people would imagine, right? You have the front end and the DEX, you have the AMM, which is kind of the underlying infrastructure for any liquidity on chain, whether that's for meme coins or tokenized stocks or protocols themselves. You have our DEX aggregator and our routing engine, which is super distributed. Our swap API, right? Aggregating liquidity from everywhere and allowing wallets or terminals to integrate. And so we have our own capital that we deploy actually on chain and we farm with and we do different things as well. So when I, and maybe that's not what people think of when they think of sushi, but it's like this very robust and dynamic business that, and really our objective is like DeFi monopoly, right? We want to own as much of the value chain as possible within DeFi. So we want to own Swap on the front end. We have like our super app coming later this year. We have perps. We have distribution on the AMM, and we want to work with launch pads and meme coins. We want to have those projects and communities building on sushi and supporting those. But ultimately, like what Robinhood represents, in my opinion, is like dislocation in the value, in the capturing of the value chain, right? So you have like these launch pads, but they don't own the entire flow. You have these terminals, but they don't have their own routing, or they don't have their own AMM or their own launch pad. You have really the only AMM that has any market share, which is Uni, right? But Uni is sort of this like agnostic academic entity, right? That just has a practical monopoly on AMM. Besides maybe, Pancake or Sushi or Arrow. And so when I think about the way that DeFi is moving and the way that finance is moving, really what DeFi represents is DeFi is a phenomenal financial innovation, right? And so what it really does is the composability aspects and just like a lot of the other kind of like ancillary benefits of DeFi are really useful to traditional finance. And so what Robinhood's focusing on is primarily RWAs and of course like memes for the culture, right? Which helps them kind of bootstrap attention and these types of things as well. When you think about tokenized equities getting brought on chain and kind of like the innovation that brings, it's like this really nascent environment. There's just not a lot of, it's like just happening now that these assets are getting tokenized and now probably going to start getting put into lending markets and being able to get cross collateralized and used as margin and different types of trading, whether that's perps or options or these different things. And so you have like a very like a hyper growth ecosystem, right? And you have all of this innovation that's happening that's going to kind of bring DeFi and traditional finance together. And then you have like dislocation in the value chain. And so for Sushi, it's like, how do we capture as much of that value as possible and as much market share as possible? And so it's kind of an obvious bet to want to have a presence and to want to be like as proactive as possible in supporting the ecosystem and getting active, basically.
So it's better to get ahead of the train before you see how things adopt and develop, right? Because obviously if you wait too long, then you lose that advantage of being a first mover.
Exactly. You lose the advantage of being the first mover, and then also like positioning in front of this like hyper growth curve that is basically inevitable between DeFi and TradFi. And so a lot of that can happen on Robinhood chain. A lot of it will probably happen on other networks as well, right? But just positioning is, I think, super important for Sushi, and then for us to just be present wherever we view like a hyper growth market where we can add value, basically.
When was the last time you've seen something that has had the ability to, in your head, to be this hyper growth market? Was there, obviously in my head, Solana 2023 hyper growth. Now you're seeing that with Robinhood. Was there ever another time in between that you maybe saw potential of seeing that next wave of liquidity enter into some chain?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's a good question. I would say Solana for sure was like a hyper growth movement. And really what Solana, I think, was phenomenal at is, if you think about crypto, like what is the power of crypto? It's community and network effects. And the problem with gas fees is that they sort of boxed out a lot of users on Ethereum L1. And so you actually had a cap to like the size that the communities could kind of expand to, because there was this like financial gating of gas, which is just really expensive. So if you have people in, like lesser developed countries, or if you just have people who have less like capital overall, they can't afford gas fees on ETH L1. You have this home on Solana where effectively like anyone can come and participate in these like decentralized capital markets. And so it just opened up a massive base of like net new retail and net new users, which created that like hyper growth, in my opinion. And I mean, I don't know. I think probably DeFi Summer, just kind of like the innovation of DeFi in general, right? It's this like hyper growth moment for crypto, stable coins, perps, and then perp dexes, right? For sure, these like hyper growth things. I think when when you're gonna think about hyper growth, it's like it's really net new entrants that are outside of crypto, right? It's like how do you kind of like bridge that thing? The interesting thing about perps, I think, that not a lot of people think about is that perps are not a crypto innovation.
Yeah.
Perps are a derivatives innovation, right? Perps are a really, really phenomenal way to take a directional bet on price where you don't have a premium and a time decay mechanic like options, right? Because options are just really hard to trade because you have the premium mechanic, you have the time decay mechanic. You have to kind of like have a pocket where it really makes sense to take this like asymmetric bet with this capped risk in an options contract versus perps. It's like, if I think the price is going to go up or down, I can just kind of take a view. And then also the funding rate mechanic creates this like game theory where, okay, well, maybe I would take the inverse view dependent on what the funding is, right? If I'm going to get paid 200% annualized to short something that I like, maybe I will short it at that funding rate. So, those are, I think, like these maybe a couple examples, like hyper growth stuff. And then now with Robinhood Chain, right, you have tokenized equities and like really getting tokenized equities liquid and kind of just like ingrained within crypto and kind of, streamlining the on and off ramp between CeFi and DeFi. That's like, it's a huge unlock.
It's a massive unlock. And that's the innovation that I think people get excited about. That's what I get excited about. New ways of doing things that not only just in crypto land, but being able to bridge to the world, getting them involved, getting them interested in our little crazy ecosystem is exciting. And every chain is actually really pushing tokenized stocks. Coinbase, Base, Robinhood. I think Solana will eventually get there. Or if not, they want to. So yeah, no, I think that's great insight. So now let's turn to the topic of memes, right? Because I think you did something interesting. You actually publicly have said that the memes that define Robinhood should launch on Sushi. So obviously you have a positive mindset on memes. Why? Let me ask you this. Why do you think memes will be such a critical part of Robinhood's ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you think about meme coins, right, they are like one of the purest expressions of DeFi and crypto, because what it is it's effectively it's like this decentralized capital market thing, right? That's based around an idea or a community or a movement or something funny, and you have the ability to reach so many people. And I think memes are just fun. They're hilarious. They're like, I love when I see some stupid, picture or like thing commented on my ex. Like I think it's hilarious. Like if you find a funny moment and you can tokenize that and you can create a community around it and you can do something ridiculous, like it's great. And what it does too is memes ultimately are the ultimate on-ramp for crypto adoption, right? If you think about like the biggest waves of crypto adoption, a lot of them have been led by meme coins. And you get people who maybe they buy a Dogecoin or they buy whatever for the first time, and that's their first go at crypto. But then they get interested in DeFi, they get interested in trading, they get interested maybe now in tokenized equities, or they get interested in just understanding finance at a deeper level. So I think there's a blurred line kind of between investing and speculation, right? But ultimately, you're kind of using the same muscle sometimes when you're speculating and when you're investing. And so it can be a really good, it can be like a really interesting way to bring people around to learn about new things or learn about new technology or learn about investing. And it can be like a cool gateway type of moment for a lot of people. So
Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of memes. There's a lot of people. I'm a huge fan of utility coins as well. There's some people out there who are just like, oh, if you invest in like these true utility maxis, are like, don't touch memes. You're gonna lose your money. And it's just like both can coexist, right? On the one
well, you
hand,
probably
memes.
will. You probably will most of the time,
I
right? I
mean,
mean,
yeah, but
that's the
hey,
point.
Alex,
Yeah.
no crying in the casino, sir. No crying in the casino. That is the method I tell myself that not. You probably will, but it's fun if you do find, and that's why I really hope the culture of holding comes back. The 2020, 2021, where you're kind of forced to hold because the ETH fees are astronomical. Right now, the trenches have the ability to do something great, which is come together on a meme or a couple memes that people can relate and hold to. But on a different topic, it's hard to place faith and trust in a community when the community lasts 12 hours and then it's on to the
Yeah.
next. So the goal, if you're a trencher, is to understand longevity matters. Maybe not. It's probably not wise, especially if you're not very familiar with the trenches, to enter a position on like a 2-day old meme because you don't know what the fuck's going on. But if something's been around for months and established a core community, they're here. They're here. They haven't been vamped. They're strong and they're loyal. So I do think that the presence of memes is two things: benefits, attention driver. Nothing's more focused on an attention than a meme that's tied to a platform. For instance, in Robinhood's case, it would not have received the attention it did if it didn't send Cash Cat to $200+ million. It got everyone interested. Before that, no one cared. Straight up. So if you were think we don't necessarily need more L2s, but if you are thinking of that or you have a project out there, which is a token, send something. That is my advice to you. But I digress. So, all right. So Alex Sushi believes in the memes, believes in the meme culture, which is good. How much money are you willing to deploy in this market in order to, get that name out there even more, knowing that Sushi's pushing the limits on meme culture on Robinhood?
Yeah, I think we'll see.
Yeah.
We want to take a big bet on Robinhood Chain. We want to take a big bet on uh, our ecosystem. Anything that grows sushi ecosystem is something that I'm super passionate about. So um, we'll see. I think you know. Yeah, I think Robinhood Chain could be an inflection point for sushi in a lot of ways. I
Why?
think it could be a way for, like I said, I think there's a lot of issues uh, in the current DeFi world. I think there's a lot of dislocation in the value chain. I think there's a lot of extraction, and I think there's a lot of opportunity also to help the communities that are building within the ecosystem, uh, try to filter out bad actors, try to filter out the extraction, try to build products that work and that are great, right? I think there's there's a lot of I think there's a lot of reasons that certain pockets of crypto are currently struggling right now, and I think that there's an opportunity within Robinhood Chain to tap into some of those pain points and do something really interesting. So
Excellent. We probably have like, I mean, I don't know how limited on time you are, but do you have a hard stop in 10 minutes or?
I do at
Okay.
3 actually, but yeah.
Okay. So we'll push it 3 more minutes. Live late night on chain with Alex from Sushi. Shout out to the 2,100+ people tuning in. Okay. So since time is limited, let me ask you this. If I'm a builder, obviously they have plenty of ways to deploy or launch or whatever. But if I'm launching a token tomorrow, why should I build on Sushi? Why should I? What's your message to teams deciding where to launch?
Yeah, I think ultimately what sushi is going to offer is the most support of any DEX AMM venue, right? That's currently available. So our goal with sushi is like we want to curate and we want to support our ecosystem. Our kind of entire product suite is actually phenomenally positioned to support whether it's launch pads, whether it's tokens, whether it's protocols, right? We have kind of the entire suite that's needed from an infrastructure standpoint. So, I think we've got some stuff coming in the next couple weeks that will sort of make the incentives apparent around the product and everything. So I'm pretty excited to share that, and it'll be Robinhood Chain specific stuff as well. So I know a lot of your community is fixated on that too. So yeah, we've got some stuff kind of in the pipeline at the moment.
If you ever want to share some alpha before it's released, brother, I know a guy with a nice set of hair. His name is Bill. If you ever want to push it his way, I'm happy to oblige. A couple more questions because I find you very fascinating. This is one that I'm very just interested in. What motivates you, Alex? Because obviously reaching the level that you've achieved to get to Sushi to be one of the top aggregate or dexes in the world is not an easy feat. You've obviously accomplished that, yet you still are motivated day in and day out to push this protocol forward. You're not sipping some margaritas on a beach. What motivates you, man? Why do you wake up every day pushing this industry forward?
Yeah, I think my objective with Sushi is like very very simple, right? I want us to win, and I want us to win as much market share as possible within kind of the DEX and DeFi landscape. And I don't actually even want us to stop at DEX, right? I essentially want the Sushi ecosystem to be one of the most important brands and infrastructures within all of crypto, right? And so whether it's from a DEX standpoint, whether it's from an aggregator standpoint, a routing standpoint, whether it's from capital formation and investment standpoint, things that we're working on there, whether it's supporting our ecosystems or meme coins or protocols, like I want our venue and our infrastructure to be the best place to do all of these things. So for me, it's really just a competitive nature type of thing. Like I want Sushi to win, and I want it to be monumentally successful. And so, uh, that's kind of it. It's like for me, it's not really a financial motivation thing. I'm not really worried about extracting some amount of millions of dollars from the crypto ecosystem. I don't care about that at all, actually. I just care about winning a ton of market share and building an awesome community, and just being like, look what we did, right? Because this is one of the most competitive markets on the planet. DEXs and trading and DeFi, like just the trading product market within DeFi has gotten hyper competitive, and there are a lot of phenomenal teams building really great things. And to me, it's just this really big challenge, basically, that we're working at every day, and we've got a great team. And when we find these like pockets of progress and success, it's like it's fun, So
Last question before you leave. 3 years from now, fast forward years, 3 years, 2029. What does success ultimately look like for Sushi? Is it the default liquidity layer for Robinhood Chain? Is it something more?
I think default liquidity layer would be great. I think trading super app is a big focus for us. Trading market share. We've got our mobile app coming this year. I think routing and trading infrastructure is a big focus for us. Having the most competitive trading infrastructure, whether that's like on the public side of things with our aggregator and our routing and our API, or whether that's sort of the PMM and private things that we're building internally, the stack that we're building internally. If we have those ingredients, Sushi will be in a good place.
My friend, really appreciate you coming on. We'll make sure we have a couple clips for you from this episode, share it to your community. We'll tag you. And man, anytime you want to come on, more than happy to have you on, man.
Thanks, Bill. No, I appreciate it, man. This is fun.
We'll do it again sometime, my friend.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, my friend. Have a good rest of your day.
All right. Take care.
All right. All right, that is Alex from Sushi, an ultimate Chad, but honestly, very humble, down to earth guy who's actually created a behemoth in Sushiswap. Man, I remember in 2021, Sushi was fun. It was like I think it vamped Uniswap, and then as this created Sushiswap, and it just had so many of these random farms. So fun, so fun. We're kind of seeing that right now. Unlocked. Wishbone, baby, Wishbone Army, bring back the holding economy. Please, bro. Please, please. Tell these Jeets to get out of our chain. Oh my goodness, galore. People's attention spans are like 12 hours. I wake up, rug. What? Hold, baby, hold. That is why, Ski Mask Dog did so well. I mean, that's the one thing base had in 2024. People just held. There was no like 12-hour shifting culture. Bring that on Robinhood. We succeed. So hopefully they bring it back, because I want to see Wishbone do well and other bags that I own do well. Zibar, what's going on? No crying casinos, favorite phrase. Great to be in the stream. Thank you, my friend, for tuning in. Obviously, as a supporting sponsor, I like and support Buildify. If you guys are looking for a different approach to launching a product, go to Buildify. Excellent. We have John coming in. John was actually supposed to come in a half hour later, but John, you stay right there, Albemarle. Let's go, Lieutenant Governor. We're going to play. I actually want you on right now. That'd be great, because Cyrus won't be able to come. So we have this like gap. And this gap in between guests is hella awkward for me. Why? Because I don't really like to hear myself speak that much. I like the monologue. I like giving my thoughts. But a half-hour monologue, oh, damn, bro. You're not here to listen to that. You're here for me to interview dope guests, teams, builders, not just for me. But yeah, exactly. 12 seconds is actually right. But yeah, we'll have John on. So, okay, two things. Number one, we're going to play a word from our video from our presenting sponsor, BB7X. And then also we are going to dive deep into Albemarle City. And when we talk about, communities that don't just die after 12 hours, it's these guys. These guys are maniacs in a good way. They've been around forever, and they're just passionate in their building, and they have some cool videos and stuff. So we'll check it out. But first, a message from our sponsor. Once again, the only way your boy gets paid is if he does stuff like this. Holla. All right. A message from our sponsor. Pretty dope. Pretty dope. You get to have a video on stream. All right. Shout out to the 3,100 people tuning in live late night on Chain. Again, shout out to our supporting sponsors. We got Banker, Buildify, and of course, Albemarle City. All right. Give me 2 minutes. We're going to just have a nice little screen for 2 minutes, and then we are going to bring up the one and only John, Lieutenant Governor of Albemarle City. Wallow to you too, sir. The lands are great in Albemarle. The lands are very cheap at Albemarle. And again, guys, nothing I say is financial advice, blah, blah, blah. But some people are kind of retarded, and they just think whatever I say is financial. Nothing I say is financial advice. It should be clear. Just bring on cool teams. The one thing, though, I won't do is bring on scammers. Now, if I sense any scammingness, you're gone. You are gone. But nothing's here. All right, guys, give me 2 minutes, and we'll be right back. And yeah, BRB. John, we'll get you up in 2 minutes. Welcome back. I'm Bill. Anyways, I sound scamish. Why is that, sir? I'd be very curious to know why I sound scamish. If you're going to bring the heat, let us know. Let us know. Don't be shy. Come on, tell me why I sound scamish. Curious to know. Anyways, Wallow neighbors, Henry, what's going on? Harry, what's going on? All right. Now let's bring up. First of all, I got to make sure I show some love. It's funny that guy thinks I sound scamish. Yeah, bro, I'm scamish. I'm on the screen like literally Monday through Thursday. Get out of here. All right. Live with John. All right. Hope you guys are doing well, surviving the bloodbath that is our crazy world of crypto. But let's just do it, man. Welcome to the show, John. How are we, sir, Lieutenant Governor?
What is going on, man? Doing well. How are you?
Good. I hope my title that I've given you is sufficient for everything you do. I think Lieutenant Governor goes a long way, don't you think?
Yeah, I can date, man. I like it.
All right, man. Well, welcome to the show. Let's just chat, man. We have quite a few people tuning in. You know, we just had Sushiswap on, Alex, a different kind of crowd. Like I said, we do all sorts of things. We got the meme culture, we got the VC-backed world, the institutional capital. But many might not even know what the hell is going on with Albemarle City. So why don't we just start with that? In your perspective, what exactly is Albemarle?
Yeah, for sure, man. One thing I want to touch on too, you've been crushing it with guests this week. I tuned into the I think it was Jesse you had on yesterday.
Thank you.
With Albemarle, we're talking about Solana memes. So there's obviously the story and, the creativity that comes in behind it, and it's supported by a community. So when it comes to memes, I think everybody's pretty familiar as to why, what creates a meme that people can get behind, what creates a meme or a community that's actually going to be long lasting. And that's something that you see with Albemarle. So if you're not familiar with Albemarle, it is a real city. It's in North Carolina. And the idea of bringing it on chain was done by Larp von Trier. Larp's been on Twitter, since late 2020, around there, and they actually started Albemarle, I think it was early 2024. So, you can call that as season one. And the idea, you see cat coins and dog coins and pictures of whatever shit's getting vamped left and right. But what makes Albemarle different is it's creating a city on chain. And that's what you've seen with the community and being able to build stories and, go deeper than it just being a funny looking picture, right? I really want to give a shout out to one of the guys in our community, Harry, who's just, he cranks out the most ridiculous storylines and just really in-depth things that build and tell the story of Albemarle. Another thing that LARP has really been good about as well, when you look at the token, a lot of people call them like the coin or whatever. With Albemarle, it's seen as land. So you have water, air, land, and that's all the opportunity that Albemarle holds. And one big thing in this season two of Albemarle is he's been airdropping holders, the citizens that are showing that, they're not just here to just sell it 10 days later or 5 days later. So I think it's built a really strong community. And also, when I say that's like every token out here is building a community, people are chasing airdrops, whatever it may be. But what brings me back to Albemarle day after day is like, dude, these are the same guys. Like, there's a very core community that was doing Albemarle season one, you could call. And those dudes have been rocking with it since day one and even here into the second relaunch. So that's really what attracts me personally. I met LARP on Twitter back in 2024, around there. I had launched my own coin and was getting crazy with it on CT. And we just connected, over just what I would say is a genuine connection of just like, oh, okay, he's not some dude out here just trying to rug or do some short term thing. He's having fun with on chain, trying to build a community. And that's what I did with my token at the time. And then that's how I got connected with him. So, moral of the story, if anybody is like, what the hell is Albemarle? But you are in the memes and in DeFi, which is why you're here watching Bill. It's everybody wants to buy a coin and sell it in 10 minutes for a 10x. Everybody wants to buy a coin and sell it in 2 days for 100x. But unless you're sitting here with a Twitter tracker and meme scope up, you're just going to burn your finger off. So for me, when I look at Albemarle, it's something that is more of a longer term. And then you see that within the community. Everybody wants to, where's that 100K market cap coin that the KOLs are posting, that the community's active on? If you take a look at the timeline with Albemarle, none of these dudes are even phased at what the chart is because they're so excited and passionate about building the community, building the storyline of what makes it to be Albemarle. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things with Albemarle is, you know, we talk about the culture of like just leaving and selling within like, I don't know, 12 minutes, 12 seconds, like this culture of just like of not holding. It's actually very frustrating. But you guys obviously believe in the culture, and that's how communities can form. You know, where I was talking with Alex, the community aspect of any coin is great if you allow the community to develop. But the majority of projects these days don't allow that to happen because they just have, you know, attention spans of like snails. So I think that's a beautiful thing that you have all these people collectively working together. And it makes you guys unique. When did the concept of Albemarle come from? Because you said this is season 2, so there was a season 1. At what point did this kind of become like a thing?
So I can't speak to, exact because I wasn't really rocking with Albemarle in season 1. Although I met LARP, I want to say that was like 6 months or so after he was kind of pushing Albemarle. From my understanding, he was really hard with, or not hard, but behind Keyboard Cat on bass, and then Albemarle just being sort of a different angle when it comes to meme coins. Something that you see all the time is like, we can talk about Keyboard Cat or really any token that you see on chain. When I look at them, I look at it and it's like, what's the lasting, what's the runway on this? You look at like Tung Tung and some of the viral like TikTok stuff. There's a timeline. There can be an expiration date on that, and it's not really controlled by the community. Like if a certain type of TikTok stops going viral and that's the coin you're in, you know, there's a lot more legwork there than what's been happening with Albemarle. So at its core, I would say that it's really a root, grown from the roots type of approach to building the community, and then also putting that in the eyes of it being a city on chain. Instead of holding coins, you're accumulating land. And I'm here in Central Florida, and you see this happen over the past 20 years. What happens when people start going to where land is available? What happens to the price of land as people come? They're getting excited about it. So that's kind of the idea there.
Gotta unmute my mic. All right. So that definitely seems the appeal. Obviously, it's on Solana. People are working together trying to build this like oasis in a way, first tokenized city on Solana. Now, I've been hearing, first of all, Van's been great. He's been posting all these like game clips, but you guys have some movie played. I think it was like an 8-minute trailer. Is the website down right now? Do you know?
Yeah, so we had an issue this morning. The our dev that works on the website, he was hosting it on this on a private server, and dude, the private server like came after him saying that he was
Really?
like trying to imitate the Albemarle actual city website.
Oh
So
no.
I haven't gotten to like actually talk to him. My brain goes to two places. A, I think it was Hostinger that he was hosting with. I'm like, dude, how centralized do you got to be to go rip somebody's website off the internet? Like, there's so
For
many
sure.
weird. And then my other piece is like, okay, like maybe it was Albemarle City Council. Like, did they have a whole meeting over? You know what I mean? It's like who went and told on? I don't think Hostinger was just digging through their websites. It was like, this is weird. We should take. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're dealing with that this morning. I would imagine that it's back up here in the next few hours, but I know I think it was Papa Bear and another guy were working on getting that sorted.
Is there a way we can see this video somehow? Maybe stream it from
Let me
maybe
see.
stream it from like X.
Yeah, I think it should be on X. Let me see if I can get you the link. Just put it over into your DMs on X.
Okay, let's see.
There you go.
Let's see. Oh, I think Harry sent the post. Okay. And you did as well. All right. So why don't we sit back, relax to the 3,000 plus viewers tuning in live late night on chain. Let us sit back, grab some popcorn. Let's see. Because for whatever reason, it's super slow on my end now that I'm streaming. Sorry, can you hear me, John?
The video? Yeah, you're saying like the video buffering?
Yeah. On my end, it's just too hard. So if you want to play it, because I'm also streaming right now, so if you can play it on your end, that'd be great.
Let's see what I
And
can
we could share it.
do. Let's see what we can cook up here for a second.
Sure.
I wanted to ask you, how did you come across Albemarle? Because I've seen you and I had crossed paths maybe a year and a half ago or so.
Almost 2 years ago.
I was talking to the Capital Block guys. That was a while
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, that was
But how'd you
August.
come
I
across
remember that.
Albemarle?
It's a good question. How did I? Well, I think number one, I just was like scrolling Twitter one day, and Van Larp, obviously he comes from the KeyCat thing, and he made a tweet, and it just seemed really cool. So, like, I mean, I didn't know anything about it, but I kind of liked the approach that they were taking, and so I just bought a bag. And I started bull posting and started liking it. I like the community feel. Like I said, I come from a culture where it's like I want to hold something and like rock with people, like I want to like be a part of a community and like shit post and like feel like there's something there. And yeah, one thing led to another, and then I started slowly buying it, and kind of proposed to him, hey man, why don't you guys become one of my supporting sponsors, and we'll just we'll get more attention out there. And here we are, sir. Here we are.
Yeah, I love it. And you touched on a good point too, because I mean, 20, 23, 24 is like you found something that made you laugh, you get into the TG, and then you're just
Yeah.
rocking with it. You get, hyper obsessed with it, and then it's fun. And then it kind of shifted into like a super hyper diluted space. Everybody was complaining about pump fun when it became super easy to deploy coins. But really, in my opinion, competition just makes the product better. So even though there's maybe 1,000 coins a day, whereas before it was like 10 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do, you got to sift and look through the weeds. But when you do find the one that's consistent day after day, I mean, I was talking to a buddy the other day. It's like, what account on Twitter is going to be sitting here screaming from the rooftops about a coin? You know what I mean? And not even looking at the market cap.
For real.
Whereas I remember 3 years ago, dude, trying to DM people like, "Hey man, take a look at this," and they're like, "Ah, we'll take a look once it's at 5 mil or
Sure.
whatever." So it's funny to me that everybody's always trying to find that next coin that has solid people that are sticking to it no matter what, and then it's easy for people to kind of overlook it at times. So. I tried to fire up Stream Deck on my computer because I'm doing this from my phone right now, but I'm having a little issue, so it might be a little tough for me to run that.
Yeah, it's not.
Moving
No, I
forward,
was
sorry.
gonna say if you can. Okay, I was just gonna say if you could click. Um, it says Thor saying it's on Squatch's profile pinned. If you're able to go to that and just play it, and then I can like screen share it, so you don't have to do anything except play it on your screen and just present it. So if you see the bottom, like, could you just play it, click the tweet, and then hit present, share
Yeah,
screen?
I'm setting up StreamYard on the computer right now because I got you on my phone.
Oh, got it. Oh,
Yeah.
let me try one more time. Like I said, I don't know if it's gonna buffer, but let's see. We'll give it a shot, guys. We'll
Yeah.
give it a shot. It's all I can do.
Yeah. The anticipation's building. We did the premiere with Easy. If you I don't know if you
Yeah,
know
how'd
him,
that
he's
go?
like the Podago crew. Dude, really good, man. He was really stoked on it. I obviously there's AI videos everywhere. It's completely opened up the creativity and power that people have to create. But what's amazed me, and especially with what Harry's doing, is like the character consistency. There's an actual storyline. It's well thought out. It's not just like, it's not like
Yeah.
an AI video you can't really follow.
Hold on.
So
Okay.
that's something that's
I think I
pretty
got
sick.
it.
Sweet.
Hold on.
You get today's numbers on 3i Atlas?
Doing it now.
Sir, you need to see this.
Dear God.
Get the Joint Chiefs on the line.
At 2100 hours tonight, we received a classified message from NASA that 3i Atlas has changed course.
What do you mean changed course? How does a comet change course?
Sir, NASA has confirmed that it's not a comet and it's heading for Earth.
We need a response plan immediately. We need to shoot it down.
Yes, Mr. President.
Understood.
Where's coming in at?
Albemarle, North Carolina, sir.
4.5 minutes to impact.
All personnel to battle stations. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill.
To the water tower. I repeat, everyone to the water tower now.
Oh my God.
Get down.
Please, thank. Want some more syrup?
Good. What was that? Earthquake!
All right. Wow, dude, that is a banger. What were your thoughts when you first saw that?
No, I can't hear you on my side, but I see your lips moving.
Can you hear me now?
No, let me try something real quick. I'll be right back. Let me see
Okay.
this.
Let me know when you're back, John. Let me know. All right, John, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, let's remove the other John. All right, cool, man. What was your thoughts when you first saw that video?
Dude, when I watched it on the easy stream, the first thing that amazed me was the continuity just across the entire video itself.
Yeah.
I've personally done a lot of video generation. I helped someone run a faceless YouTube channel, and dude, doing AI video generation to tell like a cohesive story and to get your point across and to like build an actual plot is pretty hard. So the first piece that I took away from that video is the effort and the energy that I saw that was put into something like that. And then furthermore, it just tells, kind of the story and uh, not the story, but it's building on the story of what is Albemarle.
Yeah.
And that's really the biggest thing that I've seen come out of the community when it comes to whether it's AI memes, whether it's people actually going to the city, which has happened like a few times now where guys are just going there and, um, you know, writing up banners and doing things actual in the Albemarle city in North Carolina. LARP has this game that he's been posting. I don't know if you can share a tweet up, but he's kind of teased some 3D little screen grabs and videos. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and like I touched on before, in my opinion, the biggest thing that I want to find when I'm going to go put any amount of you know coins into a project is I just want to know that is there a community here that believes in this, whether it's at 50K market cap or 2 million. What's the vibes here? Do people believe in this? And then my next question is, how is this getting visibility on the timeline? Because in a world of CT and the amount of eyeballs that are there, and you see daily posts going out, not only from the community itself, but from LARP. So it's not just like LARP is giving the community a chance and not fully supporting it. And that's something that I really respect him for is, fully doubling down and believing in this. You have a lot of guys that will maybe bull post something for a week or two and then they just kind of forget about it but you've seen time and time again, especially from a guy like LARP, whether it's Keyboard Cat, the first Albemarle or this one. It's kind of gone through different generations and things, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no denying that Albemarle has shown longevity. They're not concerned with the short-term price, and they're just here about creating vibes and culture. And I think that's extremely rare in this space and extremely missing. And so I'm super excited, to be a part of this in any little way I can. And man, you guys amaze me. Even though I'm not super active in the Twitter chat as much, but I'm always watching and yeah, I look forward to seeing this grow to where it should be. And yeah, I mean, our mayor, man, no one's going to take our minerals and our lands because they are abundant. The CCP is not allowed.
Yeah, man, it's good. Time will tell, and I'm super confident in where this can go. Not to speak in exacts, right? But
For sure.
yeah,
For
yeah.
sure. All right, John. Well, listen, man, thank you for coming on the show. 3,400 plus people tuning in. Now they know Albemarle City. Check them out. The tokenized city on the Solana blockchain, where the lands are free, baby. Or actually, price wise, it's pretty free, but the minerals are so abundant. All right, man. Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate it, Bill. Have a good one.
You too. All right, guys. That was John from Albemarle, supporting sponsor of the show. Shout out to them. Like I said, I really vibe with communities that just create culture and a sense of belonging. And shout out to you, Harry. Harry, you created that video and you've been pushing the content and just showing that passion as a resident, and that is needed. So listen, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the show. We chatted about sushi. We chatted about Albemarle and what's going on in Robinhood. But yeah, we do the show Monday through Thursday, noon PST. Next week, no shows. Your boy's finally taking a much needed time off, a little vacay with the fam, but we'll be back on First week of August 1st, we're back at it. We're gonna go even harder. Like, 'cause that's what we do. That's what we do here at Late Night on Chain. The world doesn't end. Things are going crazy in this world. Someone's got to cover it. Why not me? The boomer threat guy. That is what I'm aiming for. All right, guys. All serious aside, enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.